Welcome live to WCET TV, the Ville Sports Network. We are here at Unity Christian High School for tonight's basketball games between the Hudsonville Eagles and the Unity Christian Crusaders, the Salad Bowl Classic. Joining me for starting lineups is Mr. Brian Waring. Brian, it should be a good game tonight, huh?
Yeah, it should be a good game. The Eagles coming in the contest at 4-1. The Crusaders have battled all the way to the Salad City Classic. They are 6-0 under head coach, the long legend. We got two legends coaching it out tonight. First of all, for the Hudsonville Eagles, it is Eric Elliott, and for the Crusaders, it is Scott Soetsma. Scott Soetsma has the upper hand over Eric Elliott. He has a state championship hardware in the showcase. That's the only difference between the Hudsonville Eagles and the Crusaders of Hudsonville Christian starters. First of all, for Hudsonville, Matt.
Number 1, Jovan Daniels. Number 11, Alex Armstrong. Number 14, Joey Miller, the senior. Number 21, Justin Fisher, senior. And number 42, Isaiah Hamlet.
And for the Crusaders of Hudsonville Christian, coming in the game, as I said, 6-0 from the OK Black. It'll be number 2, Brogan Sherd. Number 3, Kyla Burgess, Jr. Number 10, Jack Kaminga, Jr. Number 12, Owen Vanderwall, Jr. And my lineup for head coach Scott Soetsman. I'm going to get probably nailed for that one. Is Mr. Max Van Covering, a senior. The head coach, or the assistant for the Crusaders, Bruce Capel and Josh Burgess. So I will be doing camera, you can call it, and we'll see you at halftime.
Thank you, Brian. We are just about ready for tip-off in the Salad City Classic. 8 minutes on the clock here in our first quarter. Coach Scott Soetsma giving his players one final pep talk, and that will be number 14, Joey Miller, being the starting center for the Eagles. And he will be lined up against number 12, Owen Vanderwall, and that will go to the Unity Crusaders. That was number 10 with Kaminga with the ball. He passed to Bergheis, and that would go out of bounds. Joey Miller on the inbound for Hudsonville. Jovan Daniels, being the the court general for Hudsonville, passes over to number 11, Alex Armstrong. Armstrong over to Miller. Miller over to Fisher. Fisher has to go back to Armstrong. Armstrong back to Fisher. Fisher loses the ball but gets it back, passes over to Daniels. Daniels looking to drive. He just kind of grounds it, and that ball will go off Unity Christian, staying with Hudsonville. Daniels saw nothing open, so he made it just so the ball went off of one of the Unity Christian players. Looks like the ball got a little wet as the official is down there drying it off. Coach Eric Elliott trying to make sure for Hudsonville, trying to make sure his team is all on the same page over from the Hudsonville side. Eagles come from the south side of the tracks, Unity here on the north side. Yeah, Daniels will look to pass the ball in. And Daniels finds Miller. Miller has to pass out to Armstrong. Armstrong loses that, and that is picked up by Sherd. Sherd passes to Bergheis. Bergheis over to 32, Vancouvering. Max Vancouvering, a standout star for Unity's football team as well. This was number 21, Fisher with the ball, passed over to Armstrong. Armstrong tried to drive, but his shot is no good. This is Sherd with the ball. Sherd passes to Vancouvering. Vancouvering back to Sherd. Sherd trying to find something on the outside. He has to pass to Vancouvering. Vancouvering covered by Joey Miller. Miller doing a good job covering him. That his ball is passed over to Bergheis. Bergheis passes it in, and that was Vanderwall with the shot, but also called on the travel. And Miller will pass it into Daniels. The fans here of the Crusaders not happy with that call. Daniels with the ball, trying to move outside. He's got to pass it over to Armstrong. Armstrong stuck up, and he passes over to Hamlet. Hamlet with the three-point shot, making this score 3-0. The Eagles on top of the Crusaders. Bergheis with the ball for Unity. This is over to Sherd. Sherd with the ball. Covered by Miller. Over to Bergheis. Excuse me, that was over to Vanderwall. Hamlet with the rebound. Pass to Daniels for the Eagles. That was Fisher with the ball. This annual Salad Bowl or Salad City Classic going off to a fast start for the boys. Daniels over to Hamlet. Hamlet on the outside has to pass back over to Daniels. Daniels locked down to get over to Miller, over to Hamlet. Hamlet has to pass it into Miller. The ball is loose, and that will go off Sherd for Unity and stay with the Eagles. The fans over at Unity have been very vocal early on, and they're just proving with officials. Daniels with the three-point, and that is no good. That is rebounded by number 12, Vandal. Excuse me, that was rebounded by number 10, Jack Kaminga, who Miller with the inbound to Daniels. Miller now taking it up as the pass over to Daniels. Daniels covered by Bergheis. Daniels over to Fisher. Fisher over to Hamlet. Hamlet wrapped up, and there's a fight. And that would go out on Hamlet. There was a big fight for the ball there. Should have been a jump ball. A jump ball and a travel. Vancouver will pass in to Bergheis. Bergheis to Sherd. Sherd over to Kaminga. Kaminga passes into Vancouver. Vancouver back to Kaminga. Kaminga trying to drive it on the outside. He's got nothing. He passes that to Sherd, and Sherd hits a three. Daniels with the ball for Hudsonville, passes over to Hamlet. Hamlet over to Fisher. And that is a foul called against the Crusaders. Kaminga, the foul was called on Jack Kaminga, number 10. Miller over to Daniels. Daniels covered by Bergheis. And Daniels with the shot, and it's good. 5-3 your score. Sure, Bergheis with the ball. Over to Vancouver. Vancouver back to Bergheis. That was number 12, Vanderwall, who passed out to Kaminga. Eagles with the rebound. Hamlet passes over to Fisher. Fisher for three, and that falls. Hudsonville continuing their lead, extending it to 5. 8-3 your score. Pass over to, that was a pass over to Vanderwall. The ball goes out. And for Hudsonville, number 30, Unity Christian, number 34, Jake Kapiga, and number 11, Ari Landstra. Landstra will pass in to number 2, Sherd with the shot for three, and that is rebounded by Chapman. Chapman over to Vancouvering, and back to Chapman. Chapman driving, and he is fouled. Chapman is now making a call actually against Chapman. So that will go. The ball will go to Hudsonville, and Miller will pass that into Daniels. And Chapman actually making his return to the court after having a cardiac arrest on the field or the court as during the season. So this is his return after that. Brian, who was doing the camera, knows a little bit more about this than I do. So Brian will join me here for a second as Unity has the ball, and Brian can give a little more information about Jake Chapman.
Yeah, Jake Chapman on the football field last year had a cardiac arrest. He was basically lifeless on the football field last year, and it's a huge comeback for Jake Chapman. All the prayers and all the good thoughts that went towards Jake Chapman last year ended up having him back on the court this year is pretty cool.
That was Griffin Baker with the pass to Joey Miller, who will put the ball in. Your score 10-3 now.
Crusaders trail by 7 points, but the shots aren't just falling here for Unity, but soon I think they will be falling here.
Yeah,
and they'll have an entirely different ballgame.
Sherd with the pass over to Vancouvering. And back to Sherd. Sherd drives on the inside. And that is bounced back to Bergheis. And has to go over back to Sherd.
I like the defense here by Hudsonville. They're basically playing man-to-man, but when a good player gets the basketball, they're double teaming them, and one of the teammates is usually open. Nice.
That was Bergheis on the shot, no good. Sherd with the rebound and the three-point attempt, also no good. Yeah, Hudsonville's defense.
Yeah, we seen it on Saturday against Detroit Catholic Central, and it's entirely different than it was from Saturday. The Crusaders are looking, just as tough.
That is a steal by Bergheis, who will drive, and no good, but he was fouled.
Nice take there by Burgess. He'll be rewarded with 2 shots. And Hudson will pick up only their first foul of the first half, 1:22 to go. The Crusaders trail by 7, looking to cut it here within 5.
Yeah, that was good way to get contact from Burgess, especially against Joey Miller. This will be number 10, Jalen Osting, coming in. Last time we saw him on the Ville Network, he was getting teed up, and
I remember that.
And ejected from the game because it was his 5th foul.
Yep. So basically, a technical foul is 1 foul, and then the technical foul is another foul. So it's 2 fouls total. And your playing time on the field, and that's a travel by the Hudsonville Eagles. Turnover. 1:12 to go. 10-4 is the score. Hudsonville with the lead. Unity has the ball.
Arlie Lenstra will be on the inbound for Unity. Burgess looking to bring it up past half court. Daniels on him.
Yep. Neither team is too leery going to their bench. They've gone to their bench quite a lot here in the first quarter.
And looks like there's a foul down on the field.
It's going to be on the Crusaders, number 11. Ari Lanstra. His first team third. So Unity now in a little foul trouble here with 56.9.
And Armstrong will come back in for Hudsonville with just under a minute left in our first quarter. Miller over to Daniels. Daniels over to Osting. Osting has to go to Miller. Miller caught up here. Over to Daniels. Daniels covered by Burgess. Over to, that was over to number 2, Baker.
It's a whole entirely different announcing setup here. That's why it's taking us a little while to get. And Unity's going to be rewarded with 2 shots here.
Yeah, it's a little harder to see the numbers here.
I can see him just fine.
But a little bit different.
Is it your new glasses there?
Yes,
Prophet?
it's my new glasses.
Oh, okay. Just don't make a spectacle of yourself. So Ward with 2 shots. One more for number 10. And cuts the lead within 5. Chance to put it within 4. And it's 4 now. Now you just got to play some tough defense and get a turnover here. Get a basket going late into the quarter.
Miller into Osting. Osting under the basket. That is, his shot was up and no good, but did go out on Unity.
Yeah, nice job there by Unity to get the block, and luckily the only bad thing about that is Unity could have took it in for another good basket and cut the lead within 2 going into the fourth quarter break.
12 seconds left into Baker. Baker's got to find something here. Daniels has 5 seconds. Is he going to go for the buzzer beater? And he will. And he got it. So that will bring our score to 12-6 at the end of the first quarter. The Eagles on top of the Unity Christian Crusaders. And we are back live on WCET TV, the Villa Sports Network. The almost full court play was no good. I can't say I would have made it myself.
I like how Unity does these things in between quarters and stuff. We had the half-court heave. That's nearly impossible. Now, the long putt is nearly impossible, but you get really awarded for it. You get an Apple Watch, which is not a bad prize to win.
Not at all, not at all. Especially with all the new improvements Apple keeps coming out with.
Yeah. So we're here ready for the start of the second quarter. In the annual Salad City Classic between the north side Unity Christian High School and the south side Hudsonville High School, and 8 minutes on the clock.
And Hudsonville will start the second quarter with the ball. That is Daniels covered by Walters. Walters, the pass in, and that is Osting with the basket for Hudsonville.
Nice take there, and rewarded with 2 points. It's 14-6. Hudsonville on top.
And that was a foul call against Jovan Daniels.
Nice take there by the Crusaders, and they're rewarded with a possible 3 points here.
And that will be Walters shooting 4 for the Crusaders. His first shot is no good. Actually, only had 1 because it was an and 1. And Daniels will get the ball back from Alex Armstrong. Armstrong over to Daniels. Daniels over to Baker. And Baker with the 3 for the Eagles. 17-8. The Eagles expanding their lead against the Crusaders. And we're kind of seeing the same thing that we saw as Camigo will drive. We're kind of seeing the same thing that we saw Hudsonville against DCC, where it's almost like an accordion score, where they get this, they expand their lead, and then it goes back in, then it comes back out, and then it goes back in. And it's kind of what we've seen Hudsonville do this year.
Yeah, it's kind of like one of those chess matches, play for play, score for score, and soon, late into a quarter, you might want to go to if you're Unity, you want Hudsonville to foul here because, points can be critical here in the ballgame.
Oh, absolutely, and you can't win a game without scoring points as Daniel drives. The ball is stolen, and that is a foul on Jalen Osting, trying to stop the steal.
He actually didn't, we're talking about Jake Chapman. He did not have the cardiac arrest at the football field. He had it at home. And then his brother, I think it was his brother that found him.
Okay.
If I remember right now that I think about it. But, he's lucky to be alive.
Oh, absolutely.
And you think the team and the medical staff at DeVos Children's Hospital would pick up a Hudsonville foul.
Yeah, it's one of those moments where we've seen we've seen it happen on the ice. We've seen it happen on the court.
Mm-hmm.
And it's always tragic when it happens, and especially when it ends. Not
Yep, we seen it on the football field with the Buffalo Bills, I think it was.
yes,
Mr. I can't think of his name right now, but momentarily escaped him. You know, you think about that tragic thing. You know, you feel for the team too,
yes.
and all the teammates and all the classmates and schoolmates and all that. That kind of haunts you for a little while.
DeMar Hamlin was the
DeMar
best player.
Hamlin, yep. I knew I was going to think of it, and you were too.
And that is Armstrong with the shot, no good, rebounded by Burgess. Burgess with the ball, passes over to Vancouvering. Vancouvering having to make passes back, and that is good. 17-10.
Kyler Burgess on the basket there. A little awkward shot, but he makes it.
Daniels with the ball for Hudsonville. He passes over to Hamlet. And both teams have gone to their bench, but I don't think Hamlet's ever been out today.
Yeah, he sat for a little bit because, I forgot who came. Osteen came.
Osteen, yes. I'd say, too, Hudsonville kind of started up with a different start than you would think. They had Joey Miller as their center, where he stands at 6'4", and Hamlet is 6'8". You would think he would be the center, but Miller was your starting center today. As Daniels with the ball passes over to Baker.
You kind of look at experience in that situation.
Baker will pass back to Hamlet. Hamlet over to Daniels.
I'm liking the patience here with Hudsonville. They're trying to find the one shot or the one mismatch on the court. They haven't quite found it yet.
As that was Baker passing over to Daniels, back over to Baker, over to Hamlet. Hamlet trying to drive. He's got something, and that should be a charge.
Offensive foul there on number 42. Hamlet, he just enough to move him, and that would cost them. That's their fourth foul. So Unity looking to go to the line here, and one more foul. And look at it; it's only not even halfway through the second quarter. We're almost in foul trouble for the Eagles.
And that's what Unity kind of needed to do after a fast start from Hudsonville. And that is Canning with the shot, no good, rebounded by Vanderwall. Vanderwall's shot also no good, rebounded by Vancouvering, and a battle back to Vancouvering, and Vancouvering's shot falls this time.
I like how Unity never gave up there. They got the rebound, they put it in, and it results in 2 points, and only trailing by 5 now with 4.5 to go.
Daniels still step back 3, and that falls. So 20-12, Hudsonville leading by 8.
Just basket for basket. That's what it's going to take. Who's going to get the last basket and get to Seld City?
Burgess with the ball.
Trophy.
And that will go over to Vancouvering, and Vancouvering scored.
I mean, it's back and forth in the last minute or so.
It's
kind of like that.
It's like watching a boxing match. Throwing the
punch for punch.
Yeah, body blows and then the big shot.
It is.
And that will be a foul on number 12, Vanderwall, for Unity, as Armstrong will come back in to replace Daniels.
It's going to stay with Hudsonville. Jake Chapman steps in to the court.
It's smart. I don't have Chapman's height, but I mean he looks pretty square with Hamlet.
Yeah, they're almost toe for toe.
And Miller with the shot, and he is fouled.
So now Unity in a little foul trouble with 4 fouls.
So Miller will be going to the line shooting 2. And Miller is a fairly good free throw shooter for Hudsonville. And Miller's first shot is good. I know I've mentioned it a few times, but Unity has really gotten into this game. Their fans have gotten into this game more than anything.
Both student sections came out in full force tonight. Unity's got a section and a half to say, and Hudson will only get like a section, if that.
And Miller's 2 for 2 from the line. 22-14. With just about 3:40 to go before the half. And that is Burgess with the ball. Burgess driving outside, trying to find something. He's got to pass it back to Sherd. Sherd looking around. He drives inside, and he's fouled pretty hard by Hamlet.
Yeah, that's another hard foul, and they took the mismatch there. They got the small guy and the big guy, and you know the big guy's probably going to end up with a foul here because he's the tallest guy, and you know he's going to have to do something. And he's trying for the block, but he got a little too much of the hand on the shot. It's only a second.
And Sherd's first shot good, but that will also move Hudsonville Unity to the bonus as Osting and Daniels come back in for the Eagles.
Now Unity's in the bonus for the next 3.5 minutes or so. And Hudson's almost right in the bonus too.
And Sherd's second shot is good, so 22-16 your score.
We're in a heck for a next second half. I think, you know, we're gonna see a momentum here might swing here as Uni gets to more on their side of the court.
And that was Fisher with the shot, no good. Rebounded by Walters. Walters over to Burgess. Over to Walters, back to Burgess. Burgess driving, met by Miller. Miller puts his arms up and get it. Rebounded by Fisher. Bounce taken out of his hands and have to move over to Osting.
The size don't matter right now because it's basically even.
Osting with the nice
But
screen.
here's the mismatch.
And Daniels with the drive in, and his shot is good.
That was the mismatch there you wanted to see. Daniels and Chapman, and he blew right past him.
And it's kind of what we saw with the girls' game as well.
Mm-hmm. The Smith and Obande.
Yeah, Obande was just going right past her. And just Smith's a great player, and that is Sherd with the shot, and he will get it to fall. That is 24-18 with 2 minutes left till half. Over to Miller, over to Osting, over to Fisher. Fisher with the shot, and that is good. You know who I'm surprised we haven't really heard much from tonight on the Hudsonville side, and that's their manager, Big Mike. Big Mike is usually trying to get this crowd behind the Hudsonville, but
yeah, I think he's preoccupied with something right now.
and that
As
was
Jake Chapman scores, that leads down to 6 with a minute and a half to go. Yeah, Big Mike's occupied with the water cooler right now.
Osting over to Baker. Baker with the 3-point. Does not get it to fall. That is rebounded by Sherd. And there is a foul.
It's going to be on number 21. This is Fisher. That'll be team number 5, and Unity's
team number
we
6.
stop at 5, so we can say it's team 5. We're taking a long trip down the court.
5th, technically 6th.
Yeah. We used to go to 10, so it's kind of a new thing that high school MHSAA has instituted. Kind of speeds up the game a little bit, too.
And Sherd will be taking 2 more shots. His third shot, no good, so he is
critical right now. Free throws are critical in the ball game. I think you just missed maybe a handful. I think that it's going to...
And he will go 3 for 4.
It's better to split the pair than miss them both. 1:10 to go. 26-21 is the score. Eagles holding the ball here, and we're going to get a timeout to head coach Eric Elliott, a full timeout.
And that will be a full timeout. And we are...
Uni trails by 5 with 1:07 to go. And the big man in the house is in the house tonight. Good old Red Giant himself, Mr. Santa Claus. As we had a good shot of him there. So 1:07 to go. Hudsonville after the Hudsonville timeout. As they lead by a handful.
And Miller will pass into Daniels. And kind of something I just noticed now too is, and it's something that I really like on Hudsonville's part, is that the girls team stayed here as well with their fans. So
and you can't leave. I mean, you can't leave, especially, you know, for the boys and for the boys game. You want to watch the boys for as long as you can. The triple's good for Daniels.
Yeah, and it's I wouldn't leave if I was a fan. And
I'll bring something out in the halftime show about, you know, fans. It's kind of bad for one side than the other.
And that is Sherd with the ball, covered by Fisher. And the shot by Burgess, excuse me.
It's back within 5, 29-24, 15 seconds to go. Hudson looking to hold it for 1. Can Daniels do the same thing he did at the end of the first? He has the ball with 5 seconds.
Passes over to Baker. Baker over to Fisher. You got 2 seconds. You got to take a shot. And that, I don't know if that was great by Hudsonville. I don't like that.
That was some good defense there by Unity, I think.
Yeah, I would agree on that.
So we'll go to our halftime show brought to you by GJ's Pizza Pub in the Hudsonville Plaza. We're at halftime. Joe alongside me tonight, doing a great job. I think you just need a little more. It's kind of hard to do it by yourself in a good basketball game. So I decided to join you. Happening on the floor right now is the presentation of. I'll get to you in a minute.
And I appreciate you joining me, not just because it's a good game, but I know I was butchering some of those. Not terribly butchering, but I was struggling with Burgess.
They're honoring the state title of the girls varsity boys or varsity soccer team by head coach, longtime head coach Randy Heetice. They're honoring them tonight. And I know it's in our thing. I know it's probably in here. I just got to dig for it. But, you know, we'd like to thank our athletic director here at AUNY, Mr. Jeff Embers, for his hospitality. He did a nice job giving us a great shot here, especially when the fans come out and from both schools. It's kind of cool.
Yeah, you can really see just kind of the sea of faces here at Unity Christian, and it's like I said in our pregame for the
girls game, yeah.
Yeah, we didn't do a pregame for this one
because we were running a little late. So we would. Oh, trivia question for today here at Unity. If it's a good trivia question too, and I don't have the right paper here, but I know my tonight we celebrate the girls soccer team for the recent state championship. Here it is. Found it. Unity Christian is second all time to the MHSAA girls finals appearance. How many finals appearances has Unity had? So this is why they're honoring the Crusaders soccer team. So the question is, how many final appearances has Unity Christian had? My guess, I'm gonna say it right now, is 16. So we'll see what the answer is following the third quarter.
I would say 16, 17 seems about right.
Yeah, they've been around the block a few times for head coach Randy Heetice. So Unity comes in the contest at 6-0. They beat Covenant Christian, Calvin Christian, Forest Hills Northern, South Christian in overtime. Grand Rapids Catholic Central in overtime, and Granville 57-48. The Hudsonville Eagles come into the contest at 4-1 overall. Their only blemish is a 1-point loss in overtime to the Grand Rapids Christian Eagles.
And last time you saw them was their game against Detroit Catholic Central, where they beat them 68-55, and that was a really good game by Hudsonville.
Yeah.
And then they go on to beat Mona Shores by 5. I mean,
Yep.
but Hudsonville has been really, really good this season. And Unity, like you said, 6-0. Couple battles in there, couple overtime games, which I really wouldn't be too surprised if this game goes to overtime with how it's been played right now.
Yeah, and you look at it, Hudsonville has been tested here. They really have been tested until tonight. The only other real test was Mona Shores and Grand Rapids Christian.
I'd say they were tested a little bit with DCC, but not terribly.
Not terribly, right. We've seen that game in the shootout. Hudsonville has 207 students. Unity has 699. So I think I'll go back to school, then we can make it 700. But it's been a while. I've been out of school quite a long time. But Hudsonville will be hosting the Saginaw Valley Conference at Davidson on the 23rd before Christmas break. And then Hudsonville will be going on the road for their first, the starter in the OK Red, the West Ottawa Panthers.
Wow, a game before Christmas. That's weird a little bit.
A little bit weird. We're here before Christmas, so it's kind of like that close to Christmas, yeah. And you can't really go out of town if you're a
player.
Yeah. Hudsonville last year was 16-8 overall, 9-5. They lost to Byron Center in the semifinal in the districts, I believe. I didn't quote that. Hudsonville comes in the contest at averaging 69.9 while giving up 54.8.
And Unity comes in averaging 49.5, giving up 47.8.
And last year they were 18-5 overall, 14-0 from the OK Blue. They were lost to the South Christian Sailors, 70-62 last year. And they score a total of 297 points of Unity while giving up 287.
Where Hudsonville, on the other hand, has scored 346 points and gave up 274.
So you look at Hudsonville scored a lot of points, and Unity scored 50, around under 50 points less. So by those stats, you kind of look at it and you say we're in a heck of a ball game. The OK Red standings look like this. The Rams of Rockford on top. They are 5-0. 4-1 are West Ottawa and Hudsonville. One game back is Grand Haven, the Buccaneers. The Falcons of East Kentwood are 2-1. And the Granville Bulldogs are 1-4. In the OK Black, where the Unity comes from, we'll start with the bottom. The Zeeland West Ducks. We're 0-3. That's kind of surprising after, they went pretty far. I think they went to the state finals and lost in the state finals. They lost most of their team, I think, too. They've lost some of their tall guys and Merrick Aldrink, and a whole slew of players they lost from that team, so you kind of see that coming. 2-4, Hamilton, the Hawkeyes. And then we got a pair of 3-2, Spring Lake Lakers and the Zeeland East Chicks. The Holland Christian Maroons are 3-1. The Dutch Domers, the Holland Dutch, are 4-1. And Unity sitting on top at 6-0, heading into the Christmas break. Unity will be at home against Zeeland East on the 3rd of January. And then the 7th of January, they go to the other side of the pond, and they face the Zeeland West Ducks.
Yeah, sorry, I got a little...
You were distracted. I'll give it to you.
But, I mean, it is a should be a really good game. I mean, and I do like the other side of the pond. That was very good play of words.
I have quite a few playing words during the season, so you just have to wait and join us. It's the battle of the north side versus the south side. And by saying that figuratively, it's Unity's school is on the north side, and Hudsonville's school is on the south side. It's not saying that all the players come from the one side or the other, but they both come from both sides of the tracks. And 29-24 is the score here at halftime, and I think we're in here for a heck of a second half. Don't you think there, Matt?
I absolutely think so, especially if it's because Hudsonville normally has been fast-paced. Unity has forced them to slow down, and I think that's going to take Hudsonville really out of their element in a way. And I've said it a couple times, but just like the loudness in here, it's because it gets loud at Hudsonville in that field house, but this is a different loud.
Yep, this is kind of more focused, where Hudsonville is more wide open.
Yes,
this one's more like a more focused, and I think it's we're gonna have an entirely different second half, because I think they're gonna feed off the fans more, or the student section down there, especially Unity. They can really get it going. Look, I'll give you a shot. This will tell you how wide that the student section is. It goes from the right-hand side all the way to the left-hand side. That's all student sections for Unity.
They serenaded us here at Unity with a nice rendition of Holy Night during half.
Oh, yeah, they did. Where the Hudsonville flock of Eagles is sitting. I don't get this, but we're not them. We'd also like to welcome all the fans that are in attendance today's game for sticking around, especially, we were talking about the boys and girls game. So most schools on a Friday, when you start with a girls game, you'll have less fans than you do for the boys game, because more people like watching boys games than girls games. And that kind of is a disadvantage for the girls, I believe. I think.
I would agree with that. It's absolutely a disadvantage. But we did, towards the end of that girls game, because the guys game was about to start.
Yeah.
But I think that really helped kind of propel Hudsonville to keep the foot on the gas as well, though.
So we're ready to start our third quarter of play. 8 minutes on the clock, 29-24 is the score. And Matt will have the play-by-play, and I'll have your color.
And Unity will start with the ball, and that is a pass in from Caminga to number 2, Sherd. Passes over to Vancouvering into Burgess. And Burgess with the shot.
Nice job there by Unity to get it back out to the top and reset.
And that is a shot by Burgess. That is a block by Daniels.
And that's a rare block, because Daniels stands at maybe, 5'3", 5'4", 5'5"?
5'9".
5'9", okay. Quote me wrong, I don't know the heights. You could tell that.
And Joey Miller over to Fisher. Fisher with the three-point, and that does not fall. But Miller is able to get in, passes out to Daniels. Daniels' three can't go, and Fisher comes flying in. And Fisher looking, this guy goes out to Miller. And that will be called out on the Crusaders. Ball will stay with Hudsonville.
I'm liking the play here of both teams. They're trying to find the mismatch, and they quite can't find it. And you could almost call a foul there on Daniels pushing off there.
That is Daniels with the ball. Over to Hamlet, over to Daniels. Daniels back over to Hamlet outside the arc. And he has to go back to Daniels. Daniels driving inside over to Armstrong. Armstrong looking for something. It has to go to Hamlet. Hamlet over to Daniels. Daniels has been seeing the ball a lot tonight.
Yeah, he's the floor general for the Hudsonville Eagles.
And that is Joey Miller with the ball. Miller out to Armstrong. Armstrong with the three, and that falls for Armstrong. It took a little bit for Hudsonville to get there, but they were persistent on that. And Armstrong got the three to go, and that is Brogan Sherd with the ball for Unity. Will drive in, and Sherd puts the shot up. No good. Rebounded by Miller. Miller over to Daniels.
I think Unity's rushing it too much here. They got to slow it down.
Miller.
Yep.
And Miller with the shot. Good.
I won't be surprised, Coach. Scott Sosama calls a timeout here. Lead is back out to 10. with less than just a little over 2 minutes into the second half, third quarter.
That was Vanderwall under the net for Crusaders.
34-26 is the score, 5:40 to go.
Daniels taking it slow. Hamlet trying to set the screen, but Burgess.
There we go. I know it's a tough name to say.
That was Fisher with the shot.
It was down, but then it came back right back up and went right back down. They call that the reflush.
Sherd over to Vanderwall. Vanderwall over. Now Vanderwall will drive with the shot.
Now Vanderwall's hit two, and Hudsonville Eagles are going to have the ball. They're going back and forth, and we'll see what, see if we can get a stop here by Unity and get some points. Draw it back within.
And Armstrong with the ball. That's over to Fisher. Fisher with another three attempt, and he gets that to fall. If I'm Unity, I am watching him outside the arc.
Yeah, he's hit enough. Now look for Unity to come back with something here, hopefully, and get it, back within single digits.
And that was Vancouver with the shot and the score.
I think one thing that Unity's got to do is come up right on the ball, make Hudsonville, turn it over here.
You got to make Hudsonville uncomfortable.
Yep. You got to get right in their face.
In Vancouvering is, as we say, that Vancouvering is very
looks like
relaxed.
He's just, really relaxed. Now they're stepping in. 4 minutes to go, halfway through the third. 10-point lead, 40-30. Hudsonville on top.
And that's a nice tip by Sherd. And that was Camingo who got the ball back into his man.
Yep, nice job there by Unity to get the ball. A loose ball, that is.
That was a shot put in by Owen Vanderwall.
Pulls their way back within single digits, 8. 40-32, 3.5 to go.
That's Daniels with the shot, and Daniels has got his own.
They're just playing back-to-back baskets here. It's going to come late in the ballgame. It's going to, matter who really has that last basket, I think.
And Sherd driving, passes out to Vanderwall for a three-point shot. No good. Bounces back to Sherd. Vancouvering with the ball now. Vancouvering has to pass it into Vanderwall. Vanderwall!
8 of the last 10 are from Vanderwall. Pulls it back within 8. 42-34. 3 minutes to go.
Burgess on Daniels. Over to Miller. That's over to Armstrong. Armstrong over to Fisher. Fisher over to Daniels. Daniels over to Hamlet. Back over to Daniels.
Playing a little game of cat and mouse are the Eagles here.
Daniels driving, and he got over to Miller. Miller's shot no good. Guys bounce back to Sherd. And Sherd, Daniels one-on-one. Sherd shot up. Sherd is fouled. And the shot falls.
Must be that banana that caused a little slipperiness on the floor for the Eagles.
I would be a little distracted if I had a guy in a banana suit behind the basket as well. Osting and Baker will come in for Hudsonville.
Hamlet will sit down along with number 11.
With Armstrong.
And Armstrong. Chance for the Satyrs to pull it within 5.
And his shot is good. Sherd has been 4 for 5, I believe.
They pull it within 5 now at 42-37. Hudsonville can't get, it's like an accordion. They cannot get anything going, and then when they get something going, they get a wide spread, and then it comes back.
Daniels over to Miller. Miller driving in. He's got to find something. He's got it out to Osting. Osting over to Baker. Baker with the 3-point. That falls short. No good. Miller trying to tip it back, or at least get it. No, it cannot do that.
Chapman gets it. The rebound with 2 minutes to go. 42-37 still remains the score.
That is from Burgess over to Chapman. Over to Kimminga.
Smart here. Get Chapman, post him up.
Camingo under the ball. That is poked away by Daniels, but back to Burgess.
I think that's what Unity's trying to do is post up Chapman here.
Over to Vancouvering, covered by Baker. Fisher got his hand in there, got it to Daniels. Over to Fisher. Fisher is good. And there is a timeout called. And that will be a timeout by Hudsonville, and it will be a 30-second timeout called by Coach Eric Elliott. Hudsonville has been really, like you said, I mean, it's been a very, very close fighting game from both of these teams. And I don't see anyone having any give soon.
I think it's just going to have to come down to the last minute of the fourth quarter. You know, if Unity's down like this, they're going to be trying to get Hudsonville to foul here, especially late into the quarter too. You know, it's 40. You know, down only 7, a minute and a half to go, and right now, I think timeouts are going to have to become a factor here. Late, are going to be becoming a factor in late in the ball game.
Lanstra will pass that into Caminga. And not just timeouts, but fouls as well.
Fouls and timeouts for both, yep.
Burgess with the ball, passes over to Chapman. And that is over to Caminga. Back over to Vancouver.
Almost went in.
Chapman. And that is knocked over to Daniels. Daniels with the ball. Miller over to Baker. And that is a travel called on Hudsonville. You know, I think what's throwing me off with Unity in these names is the dyed hair. The bleached hair of some of these guys on Unity.
Okay. Or is it just we're not so familiar with, you know, watching Unity? We know what Hudsonville's names are because we see them more. We've seen more often.
That is Burgess with the ball over to Caminga.
Unity's trying to post up up here. I think they're trying to post up Chapman.
Lanstra passes into Vancouver.
Look who got that one.
Hey, the banana.
It wasn't. It didn't slip out this time. I always think of the Grinch song that's in my head now with the greasy black peel, but he's not black. So.
You know, that would have been on brand, though. I think he missed an opportunity. Lanstra with the ball.
30 seconds to go. The score remains 44-37. Unity with the basketball.
Burgess over to Vanderwall. Vanderwall over to Lanstra. Lanstra back to Chapman. That is Vanderwall. Vanderwall will drive in, score.
12 of the last 14 have come from Vanderwall, or 12 of the last 16 have come from Vanderwall. Pull it within 5, 44-39. 5 seconds.
Daniels with another shot. Does not fall. That is rebounded by Unity. Foul call or travel, which I honestly can't believe on that one. And Unity crowd, once again, letting these officials know. Fisher.
2.1 on the clock still. Hudson still has a chance.
Passes into Osting. Osting tries to put the shot up, no good.
We're going to go to the fourth. The Crusaders trail by 5, 44-39 when we return. Thanks for watching Hudsonville Sports Network and WCTV.
And welcome back live to the Hudsonville Sports Network.
And WCTV, and the question is, how many state finals appearances has Unity's been in? The correct answer? 16. Don't take a Uni grad that knows what he's doing. He's been with the sports department, and he knows what he's talking about.
You know, I'm on the other side of that coin.
There's only one. I did do a little research on that before the game. So I will say that. So I know, unless I missed something, mentally, but we're here for the heck of the fourth quarter.
Brian touched on it. You You got two best of both worlds called in this game. A Unity grad in Brian and a Hudsonville grad and myself. But we remain professional as always.
Yeah, we're not showing any bias for one team. I got credit for both teams. I'll get to that later.
That ball is stolen from Daniels, by Sherd. Daniels with the bad pass. And that is over to Sherd from Kaminga. Sherd covered by Fisher. Fisher pokes that away. Fisher just by himself and he scores.
They call that the pickpocket. 46-39, 7 and 20 to go.
Sherd covered by Osting. Fisher probably could have slammed that. He slowed down a little bit on that.
I don't think you want to slam it because that could be. Whoop.
There is a foul that would be called against Joey Miller. Number 14 on Hudsonville. Yeah, slamming could cause injuries. It could.
And another thing is you don't want to get your coach mad.
True.
I know Coach Elliott can get very mad at times.
Kaminga's first shot does not fall.
I know of a coach. If you slam dunk, you know what he'll do? He'll pull you out.
Yeah.
Because it's
showboating.
It's showboating, yeah.
Hamlet will come in for Hudsonville. And speaking of coaches that get mad, kind of former girls varsity coach Casey Glass, who's now the assistant.
And another one that will get mad is the uni head coach too. He can get a little heated at times. There's a lot of coaches that do that.
Daniels with the ball for Hudsonville, but Glass would get very heated. And watching the girls coach Jeff Tubergen for Hudsonville, he's a very different coach than what they had.
Very timid.
Daniels over to Miller. Miller with the 3-point. Cannot get it to fall, and that will go out of bounds. That will be a Crusader ball. But yeah, Tubergen's very timid.
Very even keel. I don't know how you know.
Vancouver will pass into Sherd. Sherd back to Vancouver, covered by Miller. That ball will stay with the Crusaders.
Luck of the good pass there for Unity. Found the hands of Hudsonville. Otherwise, it would have been Hudsonville basketball.
Armstrong to come in and replace Miller. Coach Elliott has really been using his bench tonight.
You use one or two from the bench, and that's about it.
And that's Burgess, who gets the ball knocked away, or forced out of bounds, is you would say in football.
Yeah. Rucker pucked. But you can't hold it that loose, otherwise it's going to be hit out of bounds.
Ed Daniels covered by Burgess. Over to Armstrong.
6-point lead. Hudsonville leads 46-40. 6 and 15 to go. I'm multitasking tonight, by the way, if you want to know.
Yeah, Brian is doing a great job. As Daniels takes the shot, does not get the fall. That is taken by Vanderwall.
I'm very talented tonight.
Brian is
man of many talents.
Brian is simultaneously calling this game.
I'm watching the game and doing my best I can, and that will stay with Unity.
Brian is working on camera, watching the game through the camera.
No, I'm not. I'm watching it on the floor, and I just look over every once in a while. It's a tough job, but somebody's got to do it.
Yeah. And that was short with the three-point attempt, and it does not fall.
It was a nice rebound there by Unity.
Nad's up, and that one can't go either. In a fight, but I don't know about that one. But that is Baker with the ball. Baker by himself with the layup.
Just the luck of the bounce there. You know, one guy's in, or just the luck of the bounce, and it bounced the right way for Hudsonville. It's 48-40 now. 5 and 25 to go.
Vanderwall with the ball. Hamlet on him. Passes in to Vancouver. Vancouver fouls, and we get the and one.
Nice job there by Vanderwall to find Vancouvering for the and one opportunity. Cut it within 5.
And that's really where Hudsonville's struggling, is stopping under the net scoring.
And one thing is Uni gets this 5-point lead. Hudsonville comes back, and then Uni calls back in, and it's a seesaw. They cannot get over it. They can't get over the 5-point hump.
And Daniels, I was waiting to see if it would be one game was playing checkers, the other playing chess, but that has not happened.
No, they're not playing.
Baker.
They're playing Parcheesi.
Baker out to Daniels. And Daniels will be fouled.
It's only the team first on the Crusaders.
That is
Not
foul
Burgess.
on Burgess. Burgess,
yes. 4:56 to go. 48-43 is the score. There is no seat open except for probably the one right over the hoop there.
And a full timeout called by Sodsma. And we will be back after this quick break.
Struggling.
And welcome back to WCT-TV, the Ville Sports Network.
I'm not going to ask what we're laughing about. But 4:56 to go. 4:56 to go here in our final quarter of play. Uni trails by 5. 48-46. They trail by 5.
48-43.
And then guess what? Fans are still in the ball into the gym, except for I think 2 people are leaving. So we're still okay.
Hudsonville with the ball after the timeout. That is over to Daniels. You know, I was chuckling because I feel bad for my mispronunciations of some of these names.
You're not as Dutch as I am, probably.
Yeah. As that was Hamlet with the score for Hudsonville. See, and I laugh because we go over to these pronunciations before the game, and
Yes.
I got a bad case of my brain and my eyes don't work together-itis.
No, I don't think it's that. I think it's your new glasses versus your old glasses, and you got your old ones on right now. No, once we get a few games under our belt for Uni, I think you'll be fine.
That is Miller over to Baker.
They call that a pinball.
Ball bounced off short and went over to Daniels. Hammett with the pass over to Miller.
Halfway through the fourth.
Over to Baker.
7-point lead, 50-43. Hudsonville on top.
Daniels. Daniels has to look out, but no good. That is Vanderwall with the ball.
Chance for the Crusaders pull it within 4 points.
There will be a foul against Hudsonville.
Chance to pull it within 4 with a 3-point basket. That was on number 2.
Now if I'm Hudsonville,
Second. Yeah.
that was on Baker. If I'm Hudsonville, I'm starting to watch fouls. As short as wide open for 3 and he hits it. You can't get any more open than that.
He's about as wide open as the railroad tracks going to Holland. The Amtrak station.
Wow, he was. Brian is very correct on that, man.
I can come up with some pretty good ones.
Daniels over to Miller. Over to Armstrong.
At the next time out, I'll have one for you. But it's a bad pass there for Unity.
That was Hamlet with the score for Hudsonville.
That pulled it within 4. Now it's back out to 6. 3 minutes to go. 52-46.
Sherd.
Nobody's gone home yet.
Over to Canninga.
Well worth
Back
the
to
price
Sherd.
of admission. Hand in the cookie jar, as I always like to say.
And it's fitting because we are right around the corner from Christmas. So Fisher will come in for Hudsonville to replace Armstrong.
Was on number 11. That's his second, team fourth.
That was Vanderwall with the shot. Blocked. And the ball would go out of bounds. I think it went off the Hudsonville guy myself, but Hudsonville will get the ball.
We're not the referee. They're on the floor. We're up here. That's a big difference, in that situation.
Daniels over to Fit Miller, who was fouled.
That was a nice block, but, got a little more contact than, probably the second guy through. Max Vancouver is first, team only second. At the line to shoot two, number 14.
I think this is probably one of the most heated Salad Bowl Classics I've been to.
Joey Miller will be shooting one more. The chance for the
Armstrong will come back in.
They're up 7 now, the Hudsonville Eagles.
Armstrong in for
8.
Baker. Sorry, Brian.
No, you're good. That happens a lot.
Miller was good on the second score.
Much to the fans behind the basket. They're trying to distract them.
So this
54-46, 2.5 to go.
Kaminga over to Sherd. Sherd with a nice step back. Pass over to Vanderwall. Vanderwall with the shot. It's followed by Hamlet.
That'll be his third.
And Hamlet was not happy about that.
You could see it. But calmer things happen. I mean, especially late in the ball game, you don't want to do a little more extracurricular.
That will be Hudsonville's team fifth. So that will put Unity in the bonus.
Yep,
two automatically.
Yeah, 2 automatically for the next 2 and 15 minutes. And it might just come down to free throw line. Who really wants to get the free throws to fall? And Unity's not making them yet.
That was Kaminga with the rebound over to Sherd. And he cannot get his three-point shot to fall. Vancouver hits the ball back in, but Joey Miller is right there. And I think a big part of it, too, is going to be just obviously keeping the ball in bounds. Who can, on those shots or those rebounds like that, who can get the ball to their guy?
And another thing is control the clock. Clock control is the big one right now.
Miller drives over to Armstrong.
If you're Hudsonville, it's over clock control.
Over to Daniels.
I'm liking what Coach Elliott's saying here. Back it out.
Yeah, I like that as well.
Yep, stall the ball as much as you can because that melts the clock even more.
If I'm Unity, though, I'm pressing.
Yep. Head coach Eric Elliott's got to call a full timeout. You don't want to take them with you because you can't take them with you to the next game. Take them now. Oh, talking about Hudsonville and Unity. We were talking about. But I'm a Unity grad. It doesn't matter what you do because you're a Hudsonville grad and get paid by Hudsonville, so it don't matter.
Yeah, and if you guys missed that, as Brian said, Brian works for Hudsonville now. So.
Yeah, so I'm kind of voting for both teams.
Yes.
What one I would rather have, in this instance right now with minute 28 to go, I'd rather have Hudsonville win because if I picked Unity to win I'd probably lose all that money.
Yeah.
And I'd probably I'm not going to go, okay, so we were before the game, the girls' game, and Scott Sotzen, we were talking, and he goes, who let you in here? I said, I got in here before you did, so it don't matter. He likes throwing me out a lot, so we'll put it that way. So the Hudsonville ball after the timeout by Coach Eric Elliott, 54-46, $1:28 to go.
Baker will inbound the ball for the Eagles, who are soaring, but also kind of soaring like a wounded eagle a little bit.
Instead of a wounded duck, we got a wounded eagle maybe.
And Daniels with the ball, driving, passes over to Baker, and that went off the Unity guy inbounds.
Oh, almost off the head. If you heard.
Fisher with the rebound.
I think Unity's rushing the ball here. They cannot rush the ball.
Daniels over to Miller. And I would agree with that. It's a rush show, and Unity trying to foul now. Hudsonville.
They're just
That was Hamlet. So that will be a foul on Unity. So that will send Baker to the line with just under a minute left. And Baker's first shot cannot fall.
ice in the veins, especially late in the ball game. You want to eat your free throws.
Yeah. And Osting will come in.
Especially because Unity's at the line. You'll be shooting two the rest of the way. They're going to want you to foul.
And that is not good for Hudsonville.
Nope.
Vancouvering. Kaminga over to Sherd.
Pushing foul on the Hudsonville Eagles. Beyond number 20.
That will send the man to the line.
And that's not what, if you're Hudsonville, that's not what you want to do.
You got 45 seconds. If you're Hudsonville now, if Sherd cannot make these shots, you get that ball.
You're just luck. You're just luck there because Unity's trying to get points with the clock stopped, and Hudsonville just wants to melt the clock. So it's the exact opposite as Sherd hits one of two, or the first one of the pair.
Hamlet will come in to replace Osting, who just came back. He just came in, and then he goes right out.
Offense for defense. Pull it within 6, 54-48.
Daniels.
40 seconds to go. Hudson
Sherd steals. He puts the shot up and it's good.
Lack of concentration there by Hudsonville. Forces them to take a timeout. Or forced. Unity will take a 30, sorry.
Hudsonville got lax. They got lax there. I mean,
Lack of concentration there. Don't rush it. Unity calls the timeout, by the way. But another thing is you're rushing the ball. Just get the ball in, let them foul you, because it won't be shooting foul, it'll just be a foul with the clock stopped and you still have possession of the ball.
yeah, no, I mean, and like we said, I think free throws are going to be the key of this game.
Didn't I say that? Free throws are going to be the key to the game here tonight.
And
who wants to make them and who's not making them? Unity's missing. Hudsonville's making them. Now what Hudson wants to do is protect that ball. You don't want to get a turnover because that could result in Unity's 2 more points, and we're back within 4.
Over to Daniels goes Miller. Miller over to Baker. Or Daniels over to Baker. Over to Daniels. Daniels swarmed. And Vancouver pokes that ball away. That will stay with Hudsonville.
I thought it should be Unity ball.
That should be Unity ball.
It should be Unity ball because it went right off of Baker there.
I mean, that's
right in front of the coach, too.
That should be Unity ball.
It's going to be a timeout to Hudsonville. That would be their second to last. They got 1 remaining.
And it's a good thing that we're not officials, because I don't know if
how much grief you get.
Yes,
but I know the athletic associations athletic association wants officials. So if you want to do what these officials are doing, we like to thank them for what they're doing tonight. They're putting with a lot of grief. But you can call the MHSA office and sign up to be an official. So 27.3 seconds to go. Unity trails by 4. Hudsonville's in foul trouble with 5. And
got some I wanted that way playing here in the. I saw you swaying a little bit.
Hey, you gotta get into the music and the mood of this game. Unity trails by 4 with 27.3.
Baker to Miller. Miller can't find anything. Kicking called. That will be a Hudsonville ball.
It'll stay with Hudsonville. Really, Hudsonville's lucky that they got the kick ball there, because that could have resulted in Unity points.
Absolutely, and Unity is really, really pushing.
I mean, I like this. But now they foul because the ball will be down here now again. That's only 4. One more and Unity Hudsonville will be shooting 2 for the rest of the way. And it's going to come down to who really wants to make and miss those free throws. It's going to come back to that now, I think. Unity can force a turnover here. That would be a good idea.
And Daniels just rides all the way. Got fouled.
They're shooting 2. The Hudsonville Eagles will be. Now the free throws are going to be critical. As I said, during the whole game, it's going to come down to free throws. Who can hit them? And Hudsonville's been 0 for 2 lately.
Yes.
They're 0 for 2 now.
Daniels will be shooting.
Basically, he can put it on ice right here. Almost put it on ice.
And his first shot is good. 55-50.
And he's usually one of the perfect free throw shooters on the Hudsonville Eagles. If you're Unity, I think you shouldn't have fouled him.
No, I agree on that.
You foul Hamlet or another player you know that's not that good at free throw shooting. Daniels makes 1 of 2, and they're still down 5 with 10 seconds to go.
Does Burgess over to Sherd. Ball, scramble, jump ball called.
Possession ball arrow in favor of the Crusaders with 9.8. I think it's going to. I think Unity's going to hit a 3, and they're going to have to call a timeout.
You have to. That's
or get an and one opportunity and make it. Or hey, Unity gets a steal. Okay, I'm going to set up a play here. If you're Unity, get the ball to the corner, hit the 3, call the timeout, and put a big pressure on them because Hudsonville just took their last timeout. Now Hudsonville's got to watch it. They don't want to do it. They don't want to do the Chris Webber.
I think that's a really, really interesting move.
It's an interesting move, but I was thinking, why didn't Unity call the timeout?
I would agree. It is weird that Unity didn't, but I honestly kind of don't like Eric Elliott calling that timeout.
No.
Because you got 9 seconds left. The ball's under your basket.
All you have to do is call a timeout, get it forced up here. Get the half court, call a timeout then. Take maybe 1-2 seconds off the clock.
But Elliott's a legend for a reason.
So is Scott Saltzman a legend. So when it comes to, now we're going to.
So Unity will have the ball with 9.8.
Still time for Unity to come back in the ballgame.
Pass it from Kemiga over to Burgess. And there was a foul called on Hudsonville.
And then the basket counts. It falls after the shot. That's going to be Fisher. That'll be his 4th. Unity still got 4.8. If they even hit these 2 free throws in a bad situation, Hudsonville took their last timeout. That's where it's going to come down to. If he can hit both. He misses 1, but still, look at this. We're only down 4 if he hit this free throw. Unity plays tough defense. Anything can happen. Still, he got 4.8. Anything can happen.
As Daniels and Hamlet come back in for Hudsonville. Hamlet with the rebound. And he's just going to stand there and he's going to ice it. That is our game. The Eagles win 55-50 over the Unity Christian Crusaders in a barn burner of a game.
Yep. As we go to our healthcare associates and community caregivers post-game show. What a game by both teams. You give credit where credit's due. In the long run, you go back to, you give all your credit to Hudsonville. Both teams played their heart out.
I'm a little disappointed that the fans are leaving as we're about to do our trophy. Everyone wants to see the trophy get lifted, but
not some fans do, and some don't. We'll put it that way.
Yes.
But it was well played basketball game by both teams. In the long run, it really came down to free throws.
Yeah.
And if you look at it, Unity, I think they maybe missed. And late in the ball game, they missed 3 or 4. They could have. As we see the athletic director, Jeff Embers, handing the Selden City Classic trophy off to the Hudsonville Eagles.
And it was stay with Hudsonville.
Yep, they won it last year.
They brought both trophies into this matchup this year.
Yep.
Assistant Casey Glass was the man who, assistant athletic director now was Casey Glass was the man who arrived with both trophies for Hudsonville. And it really was anyone's game. It was a very different story than the girls' game that we saw.
It was basically a tale of two halves. Hudsonville in the first, Unity in the second.
Absolutely. And I used the analogy kind of in the first half.
Yep.
It was like a boxing match. This match or this fight went to the judges' scores.
Nobody's gonna know what we're laughing about because it's not on camera, but.
I thought that kid was standing on the other kid's head for a second, but and once again, it's not on camera, so you have no idea what I just mentioned. But this is a very big game that happens every year, and it's always fun to watch, always fun to come out and see, and both communities always come out. Hudsonville came out on top once again in both games this year.
Yeah, and every team has their upfalls and their downfalls. Sure had 18 points for the Crusaders. So I'm just.
The banana power, unfortunately, wasn't on their side.
No, but it was a hard-fought basketball game by both teams, and you can't hang your head if you're Unity. You're only 6-1. That's only your first loss, but go back to the 2017, I think it was, when they went to the state finals. They won the football, they won the soccer, and then they won basketball. 2 in one season, and this is when they started that run. They lost to South, and then they lost to Hudsonville, and then they cruised all the way through to the state championship and won that game. So I think this team is kind of like that team. One loss doesn't hurt you. It's only non-conference. It's only to your crosstown rival. It's not in conference. It doesn't matter in the final statistics of the season. It really does, but it's just a game.
What you're saying that run, I mean, with how good this Unity team is, I wouldn't be surprised if they repeated 2017.
Yeah.
Hudsonville,
Unity was in control of that with football too, and they just hit a roadblock. They hit that roadblock at South Christian.
Yeah, Hudsonville, I can see Hudsonville early in the season making a long run as well.
Yeah, I think they're both going to be good, late in the season. I'll be right back. I got to grab one piece of paper.
Brian is going to get our schedule if we have games coming up. If I was closer, I would have grabbed it for you. But yeah, I mean,
I didn't know we had to talk about this, but our next game here on the Ville Sports Network that we're going to be doing is back here at Unity on the new year, the first Tuesday of the new year. The Zealand West Ducks will pay visit here to Unity Christian High School. This will be the girls' variety starting at 7 o'clock, so we'll have that game here on the Ville Sports Network. Our next Hudsonville game will feature the Jenison Wildcats versus the Hudsonville Eagles on a Tuesday. And a double dipper. We have the boys and the girls. So we have a double dipper. They do that in the OK Red, where they'll have all 6 teams at one facility at a given time. So for our guy that has left us, my brother, I will get you the final on the scoreboard. So it is a final score. The Hudsonville Eagles survive to win at the Salad City Classic, 55-50. So for Matt Fabiano and yours truly, Brian Waring, and our stat guy and our scoreboard keeper tonight, Mr. Dale Waring, we'll sign off. Once again, that final score, the Hudsonville Eagles, 55. The Unity Christian Crusaders, 50. So long, and have a good rest of your Christmas and holiday season. We'll see you in the new year on the Ville Sports Network and WCTV. Happy holidays from all of us here at WCTV 2. Can't forget that, can we, Matt?
No, we cannot.
So happy holidays and Happy New Year. Goodbye, everyone.